That's not ready.
The oldest guy in
Hello!
Follow him in, man. Get a bad hip.
Bad hip.
Grind down the hound dog.
I love Elvis.
Grind all the time. What's happening, Cotter?
Yeah, just chilling, Paul, as I say, chilling.
Was in the middle.
Oh, no,
I
mate.
wanted to
So
be
he's
there.
not turning around looking at us all.
Okay,
I refuse to go below Gerald. That was my claim.
Thought you were going to bring your mandolin.
That, I didn't want to embarrass you.
They went up stages, I appreciate it. You've always got that quality.
You have got to be the main men, not me.
We've got Cotter. I had to steal this from my daughter. You were meant to have wee Davy Gregg, but he chose to play fives instead.
That's actually going no bad yet.
There we go.
Are we on the show now?
Whoa, we're on.
Good.
We're on.
Well, I'll tell you with Davy. Davy's not playing fives.
Is he no?
No, Davy's actually doing the part with Terry Hewitt and Lee McShane. Fucking leather on the ball. Two of them. Leather on the ball everywhere. Kick it!
You're joking.
No, long ball football, Greg.
Oh,
Long ball, Greg.
that's a couple of his most physical players he's had.
No, he's out of fives, I don't know.
No.
Well, everybody, episode 13. Lucky for us.
I like that.
Lucky for us, it's
a
got
lucky
a-
number.
So, Cotter, you know we've been trying to get phrases. As Dak said, the plan was originally to get you on with Davey, but Davey got a wee bit nervous, couldn't handle the limelight being on you.
Peed his pants.
Yeah, like somebody's got to take it.
It's caused me gave him my fare for that one when we were out, man. That one we were out and I bet he took a
Now, you
fare.
man with Johnny Evers, in fairness to him. He's not used to being on the stage.
Listen, I love the guy, but I can't believe he's fucking done me like this. Can't believe it. But listen, Cotter's get as much juice on everybody. Cotter will no hold back. Cotter will call it as it
I'll
is.
tell you, there'll not be any holding back with me.
Cotter's, and he doesn't like your new school, man. Cotter's just.
Oh, no.
Oh, here.
I'm a dinosaur that way.
Cotter, it's in my notes, we'll be talking about it.
Aye, because remember this one?
And I'll give you the reason.
And he had a go at Dak on Twitter for playing in the sticks. Fucking hell, Cotter, we'll talk about that later on,
We'll
mate.
get to it. Right, Cotter.
Everybody falls it with me for some reason.
No, you've got with everybody.
You know what I mean?
Because you're a wind-up. That's how I was like, I'm not going to get involved in this.
No, they wind up in it.
Right, so, I know nothing about your playing career. Tell us a bit about your playing
Playing career. I'll start with I played with St Mary's Guild with John Rice for the Carlton.
Carlton, is that what you're fake?
Yes, we're Battlefield East End. So I played with there for young, and unfortunately for us, we were below the team like Danny Drew and that had Kenny Brannigan. They were a brilliant team. They won everything. My wee team was no bad, but we couldn't live up to them. So we ended up, it was brilliant for training because John Rice obviously set a lot of standards and our training was just running up and down stairs. And I loved to be fit, seems younger. And it's took me into a bit of dumb dance. Because we used to go to this school and we used to run all the stairs. Right round it, it's like a big hall right along, you got 4 flights of stairs, running a top, right doing it.
Right.
And you do this for about half an hour solid. Then it would give you a wee bit of training. I very rarely played football, just running.
Makes you want the ball, man.
Aye, that's what John says.
That's
But St Mary's under 21s was a brilliant setup. So for there, our wee team, I think, but we didn't do great, I know that, but the team above us won everything. So then I went to Motherfield, they were a Sunday team, under 21s, we won everything with them right enough for East End, for Kilmarnock, big Jim Fleming's team, David Glasgow. So we were good with them, played a lot of wee bit in the junior parts, on the finals and that's right. Done alright there. Then for there, I went to watch Ants, where they were playing Holt Ness at the time. I'd just played on the Saturday morning, and I came with my bag, and the Ants were short of men, because that's what happened in the days. And they said, do you want to go and play? And I said, you know what, I'll get a game. But before that, I'd actually played when I was 15, when I motor was late, and I went on as a sub against my shot, I went to each. But the game against Holt Ness, went down there, the old Victoria Park, great memories. So I said, I'll play, but I was knackered, not but you just... Is
that one you means it now, innit?
Aye.
Victoria Park,
So-
that was Colt Ness, wasn't it?
When kicked off, you get a good first touch, you feel good. First touch goes right out of the park, doesn't it? Bounces off, boom, right out of the park. People right away, because I'm all a wee boy, they're all men, not me, I think I was about 17, 18. They're all right, oh, fucking get the ball under control. Next ball came out, and I actually done no bad. I was playing left back, but I was technically right footed. So I get down the line, close it in, Big Dixie go kill and scored. So it was brilliant, good start. Second ball, doing again, cross it again, my left peg, Big Dixie scores again.
Aye.
2-0, Colt Ness go 2-1, and they're battering us. And the second half comes out and it's a corner to the Ants, like it's headered out, and I kid you not, the park was dead muddy. If you played in New Means Park, it's really muddy. And I get headered out, and I feel exaggerating, I'll say 48 yards out of us on the touchline, right, and let's get headered out, and I fucked up my left foot, and it stuck in the stanchion.
Aye.
What a goal! Best goal I've ever seen in junior football.
That's it.
He's got it.
I'm not kidding on, that's a true, that's a legend.
Fucking all 8 years management, man, it's the best goal you had to score.
Diagonal, I put that for 48 years. A week fit.
48 years.
I guarantee you, mate, with YouTube channels, it'd have been fucking 18.
No.
Some kids kicked it
People
off.
anyway, the boss not the stanchion, so people are picked up. Obviously, the referee came up and said, I've never seen a goal like that.
I've never seen a player like that.
So it goes to 3-2, then the last couple of minutes, I switch one again, Big Dick says, it's a hat trick. So I said,
Fucking hell, man.
So then, Tam McDonald, you don't think you knew Tam McDonald, there's a lot of good players in that, and even though we didn't do much, we get promotion once, but that time there was a lot of good players, and the lad, you want to come in? I'm like, I don't know. You know, a big soap and that, so I'll just come in, James. I said, I'll go right in. So I went in.
Probably after you've done that, Cotter, he's thinking, I'm going to get a bigger move here.
No, after that, I just played, and it was dead. I'd see juniors back when I played men. Even they might have been 22, 23, but the big bulk men. And I was a wee skinny boy like Craig. You know what I mean? I'd no build or nothing. In junior football, they used to cripple you in the tackles, and they wouldn't get a booking. They would half you in two. And so
different game, innit?
It's changed. It's not changed now. So I kind of liked that then. I just went on, as I said, I just played with Ant, saying, come in with manager. We'd played, I think I was 32 at the time. So I played a wee bit. But with promotion, we got promotion. I don't know, but we get relegated with one goal, I think, the next year. I think Ken and Jim Fleming, Mall 21's manager, they were the managers. We got promoted. But we had a good team, and you just looked at the standard was miles better than we were, you know what I mean? But we fought well, we ended up, we get relegated, and we signed that league for years. So then Dennis Kern came in as manager. He took it for a while, him and Junior Gibson, do you know them?
Nah, no Dennis Curran, but don't know.
Well, they were the managers, they played with the Ants at the time. And we were the same, we'd always do alright, but we just couldn't seem to gel.
What was the league set up? Because obviously for me, that's always been the same.
The West, first 3 divisions, A, B and C.
Was your family in complete control of the Ants at that time as well?
See, in the 60s, my dad bought the club. The club was shutting down.
Aye.
So he bought it and didn't need money in that, so he just came here.
This is my ignorance here. See the old park, that was right beside Ibrox, wasn't it?
Aye, North Park.
That was a bit, see where the KFC now is, was it across, like, where the round
across, aye, see there's a wee industrial estate.
Aye.
That was the Ants Park. So the Rangers fans used to walk by.
What was the following like you used to get back then?
Rubbish.
Was it?
Still rubbish, aye. It wasn't much.
I don't know, because you see hangs of juniors and you see some of the crowds, man.
The Ants Club was good because at that time they had a social club in it. So the social club used to make no bad money. And the old Scottish farmers and that. So they'd all be up and they would come watch me games during the break and get away and all that. So the club done well. But it was the same again, it was a hard part the Ants, but we always beat some of the bigger teams like your Rathleys, Kilburnleys at that time were big teams. Talbot, I think we beat them at the Ants. But actually done all right in the bigger teams, but see against teams within the league, we just seem to struggle. So many good players and all.
I think that's something you get a lot. See with teams, players are. I said it to you. I think it was about.
And Talbot then was only a wee team. They were in the Ayrshire second division.
Mental, isn't it? But I said to you about Stephen O'Donnell, where played poor against the Czechs, upped his game against England like he did against Serbia and stuff. And you're like, these guys, and obviously you're related to a lower level. They're good enough players that every now and again, when their heat's right on it, you can play at a good standard, but then you can't do it consistently. That's how you end up.
I think you get unjust treatment, Stephen. I don't think he was that bad.
No, he was not. He was
made a scapegoat because
of
the boy Patterson, everybody wanted him because he's younger legs and that maybe.
I think because he plays for Motherwell and all.
Aye. When you look at Perisic, he played into Milan, won the league and that's superb. And you get you said he's played with Motherwell. He's not against the quality.
All he could do is fucking jump and just win a header.
See, you look at
it's not a first goal.
But look at McTominay. McTominay backs
ball watching, and
he's
then
never going to
his man comes off.
O'Donnell's came a step forward.
But it's McGregor, I know.
McGregor's probably. He's looking back in.
See the goal McTominay had that boy.
McTominay's two very the same guys. I know it's off topic, man, and it's still very raw.
Anyway, so I'll go back to the Ants because, as I say, where would you call it? The family to earn that, but it's always a big committee. And at that time, when I was watching, I used to be the ball boy and all that, and the Ants used to pay good money then. Used to pay a lot, what, £500 sign on back then.
Fuck's sake.
There was a big cutting then that said Poor Little Rich Club, and it was my dad at the Ants because he'd put so much money in, and would you call it, were giving players big sign on. £500's a lot of money then, not and they'd actually done really well. It was an old government president, it was for the 70s or something. But they got up once or something, and just come back down and hung about in the lower leagues. Then when we played with him, we were always kind of never really in the top 5 or anything. We were always hanging about, no disrespect at that time, like your Wishaws and that, they're kind of doing it about the Royal Alberts, like that. The answer always run about there, kind of, we'd have a good season here and there. Then Stevie Dillon took it and we played, what do you call it, Irvine Vixen Cup. But in the Thursday night, it was mad. There was a charity game, so everybody likes to play for charity. It was a wee boy and we said, we'll have a game on a Thursday. So we went to play some of the players. It was at 11 days went to play on a Thursday before this cup time. So Kenna was driving by and seen us, so he phoned Stevie, the manager, and said, they're all playing a bounce game. So he wrapped us on, didn't he?
Did he?
We went to play Irvine Vix, no team. But it's a cup, so obviously Stevie Dillon was the manager. So he's figured you need to be a signed player. So he's after telling us, we're not playing, he's asking, he wants to play that. Boys like, fuck off. I'll play.
Tomco, they all say
so.
Never a shop shield anyway, was it?
But do you know Anthony? Kenner's boy? He was playing.
Aye.
He's a linesman and he's put him as a right winger. So he didn't start me, he put me as a sub, me and John Rennie. Rennie was a great player. So we're 5-0 down after 15 minutes.
Aye.
And what do you call it? I'm like, I'll be lucky if I go in here. And obviously Ant's high, so he can't run. So he's come off after that. So Dillon's like, do you want to go on, Rennie? Rennie said, no, I'm not going on. He said, do you want to go on? I said, I'm going. He went mental, we could beat 7-1. He couldn't blame me. Instead of half time going mental, you're cunt. I said, hold on a minute. I said, that buddy in your favourite playing. It's the rest of the boys that didn't play. And it wasn't even, I said to Kenna, why did you say to him when you played this game? It was only a kick about. There was no tackles or nothing. And he's like, oh, well, you shouldn't be playing for a cup tie. I said, gee. So he ended up getting the sack because of that, didn't he?
Or did he get bumped right after that?
Aye, because none of the players played. So big Robert Stevenson got a job. But he worked in Toys R Us. So come Christmas.
Only God would tell a story like this.
Right, so come Christmas.
Even the guy just getting a job. I thought he was getting $5.50 an hour.
I'm not sure that's relevant, no, right?
Aye, but that's relevant for this. This is how we got the job. So Robert was a manager in Toys R Us. So come Christmas, obviously he can't make the games. So we hadn't won a game. We played 7 games and I think we had 3 points or something, 3 draws or something. Yeah, it was only 2 points at the time you got to win there. And Big Robert obviously seen the writings on the wall, we're not doing well and all that, and he's looking for a get out. And he says, I need to work from November to January. So by that, I'll just chuck it and all that. So by that time, nobody applied for the job. They put in for a job, so nobody would apply for it. So me and Big Dixie was the oldest in the team. And I like, do you just want to take it? Well, I was 32 and Dixie was 34. And I said, what do you think, Dixie? And Dixie said, I will do it anyway. So I was doing what you said you do, maybe play as a, because Dixie was ready to finish. I'll play still, Dixie, and you can kind of do it. So my first game was against Wishaw. I kid you not, we were outstanding, we won 5-1. Right? Now this is fucking easy. I mean, what a team we've got here, boys. No? But we were all just local boys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To govern and all that. So after that, the committee's going, oh, you've done this and that, but why did you take Pat McCrone off? We're 5-1 up, Pat McCrone was a good player for us. I'm like, what do you mean, why did we take him off? We're 5-1 up and he was injured. So I said, see the new, I said, if you're going to tell us what today, we're not doing it. We're done. So they let us do it. We ended up, we finished 5th that year. Well, half the season, we got up to 5th. Next year, bearing in mind you don't really know any players and that at this time, you know what I mean? Because you don't really know them at that time, with no contacts. So next year, we kept the same boys and we got a few boys in to Govan. It was local. It was hard to get Govan boys, a lot of brilliant players in Govan, but they didn't want to train or nothing. So it was difficult to get them in. And at that time, obviously, there was no money at all.
Back then still?
Well, we beat them here and there.
I was competing to get players, but not.
Aye, then.
It's funny though, like you saying that, right? Because we spoke about this quite a few times, where it's like, boys are different now. You're saying fucking hard to get boys to come and train. Aye,
because the boys in Govan were top quality, but it's just, they all played in the pubs. See, there's pub leagues that, the Saturday, Fridays and Sundays, some leagues.
Because you could sit and
you did PI, Kevin Feeney used to run them all. Tam Brown and that plays.
Is that
August Smart.
Kevin Feeney, that Django's there.
Django's there,
aye.
So,
I played with Dango.
They would you call it, a lot of good players and all, but they just always wanted to play, but we'd always beat them, you know what I mean? Because it was a big step up for them, kind of, we thought. But we Joe Smart and that played with United, you know what I mean? So they were good. Yeah. So anyway, we tried to get our aim in, and we chance it was a Port Glasgow was playing East Kilbride the last league game. We needed a draw, and we get promoted. So we're sitting there, we all went up to watch the game, and it's 1-0. As long as I'll tell you, East Kilbride had to win or the Port had to win. If it was a draw, we were grubbed. They 2 were up. And it was 1-0 to East Kilbride, so you're saying, come on, East Kilbride, and the Port scored. Yeah, oh fuck. And the Port went 2-1 up, you're like, come on! so you end up, you're cheering that, and end up, it worked out to be get promoted. But we went up the next year, and you're like, don't know if we got enough good players to stay in the league. But we did, when we were playing Lark Hall, our final game of the season. If they won the league. And if we get a draw, we stay up. Fucking, we beat 1-0, didn't we? Aye. And the way it worked out, we get relegated with 1 goal. That made Luke stayed up with a goal, aye. So that was that's
a thing, mate. An introduction to management,
that was my first 2 years. Then, but the following year, we got promoted again. Same again, no the quality of player again for that league. Relegated again. Then the next year was the 5th year. And I'd say to Dixie, I said, do you know what, Dixie? I said, we need to go out and get better quality players. I said, but no, these boys. But then you'd started meeting people and having some contacts in the game. So I used to, we had Madden. Well, I used to go with drink, we were having it with good that. And I'm saying, I'm going to sign Neil Diamond this year, I'm going to sign Andy Earl, I'm going to sign Davey, I'm going to sign this one. And he's laughing, no chance he'll no come in. I said, wait and see. So I went in all our doors, chatting my doors, you want to come help me out and all that. Neil was like, I'm still signed with Pollock, James. And we this boy, Chris Sweeney, an Australian, but I signed him for Celtic, right? £40 was the statement, you had to pay the reinstatement. So Paul had asked him to come down and train, and obviously you weren't allowed in these days because you're held kind of in these days, you could hold you. So we had him, even if he didn't sign, he was our player. So I found out, and I'm doing the scene Ronnie Lowry and Spit, whatever the manager at the time. I said, look, that boy's, I paid £40 for him, he's reinstated, he's an Ants player, can I have him? He's a pro, because he had to sign a pro for him. So his dad played with Pollock, and they were like, well, what do you want from him? I said, Neil Diamond. He's like, you can't know, he said, we paid £5,000 for him for the Benz. I said, what's that I want?
How long ago was this? What kind of year was this roughly?
2002.
Right, cool.
So I said, well, that's what I want, Neil Diamond. Take it or leave it. I said, you're getting a boy who's played with Celtic, that Neil's got a sword back, he's never, Neil went to see Celtic a lot, you know what I mean? But he was a quality player. Played with Fish on that, scored against Rangers, Ibrox now. And they're like, we paid £5,000 for him. I said, well, that's what I want, and I'm reporting you the league. No, frets and that. You're trying to get my player and all that shit. So we go back and what do you call it? Ronnie Lowry phones me. Said, what if you get Neil doing training, you take Neil training?
Oh! Is that your phone?
I don't know.
That's a fucking fine.
I'm a busy guy.
Okay.
That's a fine,
you know
man.
I said to turn it off.
That's Neil Diamond.
Oh, just silent.
Hold on, I'll turn it off.
That Neil Diamond?
Power off.
These crisps are as hot as fuck, man. Burn them.
Right, so
I know guys have said that before we come in, man.
You obviously don't, you are young, you don't know Neil. Neil Diamond was a phenomenal player.
Good singer.
Miles ahead.
I thought you were lined up when you said Neil Diamond. I never jumped in.
Neil Diamond was miles ahead of players. Great player. As I said, they played the Thistle and all that. Phil's first team, you know what I mean? So anyway, so we get a bit. Ronnie Lowry phones me, said, take Neil training.
Sorry, Cotter. They kiss up. See guys that put them out. I fucking ate one and I was trying to wake up. I want to see the story, Cotter. I'm trying to wake up.
I know it's a long story, but it's a good story. Right? So Ronnie Lowry phones me and says, right, take Neil training. So we do that. So Pollock's playing Partick Thistle on a pre-season friendly. So I go down and watch it. Big Oz scores 2 goals, centre off, outstanding. So Spittle comes up to me after the game and said, James, there you go, take that player, it's all done and dusted. So like a £5,000 player for a £40 player.
That's alright, yeah. Bad business. What
was he forever in blue jeans?
Money does talk.
Then we signed Andy Elliott, we signed Davey Elliott, signed Raymond Donachie for Irvine. Raymond was a great player when he was younger, fantastic player. So we're sitting saying we could win this league because we looked really good. With big Joe Mahern and that still. Rob Madden, David Dixie, you know Dixie?
Nah.
I mean, that Dixie 20 years ago, Dixie was out of this planet as a player. Dennis Bartley up front, Big John Kelly, Joe Gillespie, signed with Celtic, got in for Celtic. Tony Pugh was another one at the back. I don't know, Greg Fearson was one of the best players in the league. Top leagues. Kevin Ford was a good player and all. So we'd established a right good squad, and when we were going to play people, we knew we'd beat them. See how you turn up, we'll beat them today. And we ended up, what do you call it? We lost my first league game and we won the league, just went right through unbeaten after that.
So that was a central second?
No, that was a new, remember the West that came out? That was the first ever
West central second?
That was a new league, aye. So
you're the first manager ever to win it.
There you go.
First Ants manager to win a league title since 47-48 season.
There you go. And I generally never give a player a penny. I know people say we don't pay it, but see if you get expenses and £15, £20, it's still a lot of money. Because that can sway a player. I give nobody nothing.
It's something we're definitely
every
understanding
player I had,
that.
nothing. You know what I mean?
I can attest that. I got fuck all, I got no training gear, I got no money, I got no nothing.
We trained in the dark.
You're still wearing that training gear?
We generally trained in the dark. We didn't have any better
I know, mate.
Mad fitness. Run, no ball.
Do you ever see the wee hill? See where McKenna Park is? There's like
A wee hill
at the
like that.
motorway side.
Aye.
A wee hill there, we used to run on that. Actually, to be fair, I quite liked all that stuff.
That was
but
good.
I quite liked
Fitness, absolute mad fitness.
Aye, but
Because see if I signed you, I thought you were good enough to play.
aye,
I mean, so me and Dad say they're good work ethic.
I always hang me a wee bit different. Like I'm more like today hangs more with the balls and all that out. But see your 21's manager, right? And they were up there with the best managers I played under. Mick Lean, John Bell when we were at West Park 21, and that's what they used to say. They were so old school. They used to say, is it Springburn Park behind the goal?
Aye.
There was a hill there. And they used to go, what's the point in booking this facility and you're just running us at the hill? And you used to go, I know you cannot fucking play football, I need to get you fit as fuck, and you run out of the tappy teams. And we all hated it, and we all moaned, but I tell you what, see the amount of games we won in the last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, we just blew teams out the water. That's where it came from. But it's no, see now, but man, oh wow. You know, because you've not been that long out of the management game, so you know.
So I couldn't handle it.
Aye.
But see, going back to that, see our team at Winner League, we're still calling them Ants legends, like, because that legends, they would have beat your Talbots, not if you were in that league. We were a great team. We played Glenafton. Glenafton had won everything that. You remember? I think they won all the trophies. We got them in the West, and you're going down there, and people are like, £500, £5 a start and all that. Like, we pumped them 3-0. You know what I mean? We pumped Paul up, we pumped Taffley. Everybody, they were Super League teams.
Was that the year you done the 6 out of 6?
Right.
Only manager ever to do the 6 out of 6 in the League Cup section.
World Cup section. So
it's good going that, especially in that section, because that's a tough one.
Arthurley, Nielsen, Borough, Renfrew and the Bens. Right, Cotter, tell us a bit about the Bens rivalry. What's it like for you?
See, growing
I never got to play against the Bens.
See, growing up, truthfully, I hated the Bens.
Yeah.
Because they looked down us, they were always in a higher league, and they actually looked down, just totally treated you like shite. That's what the Ants will beat them. And they were better teams than us because Dougie Fontana, I don't know if you know him, Dougie was a fantastic player. We Davey played with the Bens at that time, no, Davey was a good player. Yeah. So they'd always better quality, but we the heart, you know what I mean, we'd fight to the death. But we wouldn't win many games. The Bens would beat us like 3-0, 4-0, we'd won 2-1 here and there. I always remember Big Dixie, it was his sister's wedding, he didn't go and he played for us against the Bens. The big man scored an overhead kick in the last minute to win it for us.
Aye.
And it was a big rivalry. People just say, okay, it's no him, but it was a mad rivalry. We used to fight, and it was
I see, like, I've spoken about it before with
it was big.
The Greenock and the Port one.
I liked the Ben's Old Park, I know.
The Ben's Old Park was good, wasn't it?
Better, man.
Traditional wee junior ground.
That was better than what
I don't like that.
I dislike the old school, man.
Nah, it's... See, for me, like, you talk about the games, everybody looks at your big ones of Talbot and Cumnock, and I was fortunate to play in a couple of them. And I've said it before, see, like the wee ones, like say like Port Greenock, I don't know if it was just because I was a player that played all the time at the Port, but that meant much more to me than playing against the Talbot with Cumnock. And I can imagine how, because it's so local and it's just...
And we a lot of local boys in. It's like a time, I remember when, what do you call it, you used to have fights with Frank, that was the manager at the time, but I remember Stephen Ankton and John Connell took the Bens. And we played them in the first game. Played them in the first game, we beat them 7-1. Something 5-1 it was at the Bens, you know what I mean? I'm like, piss easy, but we went through a stage we were winning comfortable. But we'd been on the receiving end for so long. But it went a stage 3 or 4 years, we were beating them.
So what happened with that team then, Cotter, that good team that won the league?
Well, a lot of them obviously went to higher clubs, didn't they?
Is that where they just went after that?
But they stuck together for another year, right? No, a couple of months. But what happened at the start of the season, like, you'd Nearly Diamond injured, we Greg Fearson. We got to the quarter-finals of the West that year. No, the Evening Times thing, no, the League section. So we got Kilsyth away from home, and we Greg Fearson was one of the quickest players I've ever seen. People used to offer us 4 and 5 grand for him back then, but he was signed governor, the local boy wouldn't leave. But he was rapid, he was a great player. And he's took it round Kilsyth. Remember the boy that died, Duke?
Duke, aye.
Took it round him, and Duke's fucking off them too. Straight penalty and a red card. And the referee doesn't get it. He gets stretchered after it, and a stretcher. So they got a park, take a bike and score. So we're 1-0 doing this, and we're fuming by that time. And it took us a while to adjust. We ended up with those 4-2. John Richardson was the manager at the time. And I ended up a good pal with John after at first. Well, I didn't like John at all. He was so...
My first ever junior manager.
He was quite bitter. You know what I mean? It just things they said after the Ants game in Kilsyth, calls a few unsavoury names, you know what I mean? And I'm like, picking want to bust him, you know what I mean? You're walking in a tunnel, want to hit him. So, but I ended up decent pals with John, and I got him a lot of good players once when they come to the Ants, obviously. So I ended up being quite good pals with John. I'd send him a lot of players like Grant Anderson and that. So I got him a lot of good players when they come to the Ants. And then John's like, right, Mum, we'll go and watch this one, and end up with Ronnie McDonald, the boy was at Mirror. He was at Alloa at the time, so he wanted me to be a scout for Alloa. So he'd phoned me, do you want to be a scout at Alloa? And that. I'm like, I'll do it, Ronnie, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm sitting saying to myself, I'm trying to get players for the Ants, I'm not getting fucking Alloa players. Do you know what I mean? So I ended up phoning him out after a week or two, and I said, look, I appreciate the offer. I went to Crowwood or something about that, Crowwood.
Come along.
So I said, look, I appreciate the offer and that, but I can't. But then I went with Jamie Dockett at that time. I'd just seen Jamie playing. Jamie was only 17. And I was up watching North Sean play. He was about 9 or something. Up at Yoker, that Yoker home or something, the amateur park. So I was watching this Sean's game and I seen this wee boy all the time. I was outstanding. I said, this guy's great. So I turned around. I said, wee man, what's your score? He said, 7-1. I said, how many you scored? He said, no, we're getting beat. 7-1. I said, did you score? He says, aye. So I said, wait, don't go away after this game. So I got me after the game. I said, do you want to come play with St Anne's? We're playing Clydebank today. He's like, who are they? Never heard of him. Oh, young boy, you know what I mean? I said, mate, you come with me, I'll get you senior. I said, you're that good? Just watching this one game. So I got him in. I didn't think he would come to training. Just turned up in the Rangers strip into on Monday at training. I'm like, what are you doing, me, man? So we were getting the white base. And he came in and I swear to God, he was, see Doc hadn't get his knee injury. He was
a good player.
I got him out with Dumbarton and Paul Martin was going to sign him.
He's still Nielsen, isn't he?
Aye. But see when he was younger,
I tried to get him,
he got a terrible injury, playing shots in the cup. And I felt like with Tony McNally after it. I told Tony, he told me the boy Ferguson to kick him. You know what I mean? Because I'll get my lawyers to
Darren Ferguson.
So he's, I'll get my lawyers to. I said, well, big Darren, like. James had a shot and he's, what you call it? James kicked the ball there and he's took a stone in, like, you know what I mean, right in the knee. You know what I mean?
I played with Darren, he's just a bit
the kickboxer or something, wasn't
he? Good guy as well, really nice guy.
But it was one of the days, but it wouldn't be James would have played good senior level, no first division, he'd have played higher. Top notch, man.
See, talking about players like you were renowned for being able to just bring in all these new players. How did you manage to do that consistently?
See, 1 year, Paul, we had 24 in our squad and I was 21 of them. I used to lose between 10 and 15 players.
Ronnie was one of the three that stayed.
But I got Ronnie when he was only a boy, you know what I mean? Because I used to go to, there was one weekend I went to like 3 games each day, 18 games in a week. I went to one week, just to see players and I signed one player. You know what I mean? Because I used to go everywhere and let's see like 21s. I never got a player for Ham the Row. The whole time I was in Scotland, I got one player for Ham the Row. And I used to go and watch him because see, when I went there, when people seen me doing, they would come on, he's looking at a player, blah, blah, blah. Then I knew I'd be like 10th, if say Coburn and all that all come in. I'd be the 10th choice of this player because they were all offering money. I couldn't offer him money or nothing. So I used to wait and I'd take a chance on some boys that say, oh, he's alright, maybe nobody's interested in, let's say, Paul. If I look at him, I'll get him in training. But 9 times out of 10, never got a player I've hammed the row at all. So I used to get my players everywhere. I used to go and watch all the 21 selects. Like I got Gary Dixon and Bernie McDonald for them. They two were decent and all.
No, Bernie played with Bernie at Thistle.
Bernie was just a stopper. Mad as a brush. But he done a great job for us.
That was no nonsense, wasn't it?
People couldn't do what he done.
Aye.
So
you need that at junior.
It was tough because, as I say, your family life suffers. See being a man. Oh, that was terrible. I was never in the house.
Especially
I had 4 wins.
Try throwing a podcast into that, no?
Podcast
and I'm saying I had 4 wins and I was out on the phone constantly. It's difficult because you need to. I wasn't like every other manager, right? Because I was pals with everybody and all, right? I always treated you, if you played with me, I was like your dad. That was it.
Do you mean you tried to sign me?
No.
You remember that? Remember that?
When?
You were at it.
When?
I just came back for holiday and you got me doing the ants.
Can't remember that.
You shook hands not? Nah, like you didn't, mate.
I think they did, I think.
Right, you
did. I must have needed a go with that.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
No, but when you did lose players, it was good, right, for me and Dixie, and I had some good assistants. I had Martin Ferry and Oza, and assistant Frank and Dennis Donnelly. Dennis Donnelly was a great people that ever did that, but Dennis died unfortunately. And what do you call it? Martin Ferry was in, Bona, Danny Drew, a lot of good boys at the side and all, I mean, that came in. So we were always getting good players, and it got to a stage I was signing boys for senior teams, signing for Pollocks, Affleys, and I mean, because I was beginning to get well known and you know everybody. And that wasn't shy, I'd phone everybody up. I tried to sign Paul about 5 or 6 times, didn't I? When I was younger. I got him too long.
The one you got
too late. He was knackered. Because I played a 3-5-2. Not many people played a 3-5-2 in junior football. I played it for 2001 whatever. You know what I mean? And I always looked at him going up and down, and I said, fuck, he'll do me a good job because I needed pace. And that's how I trained. Because sometimes I'd look at my teams, right, and I'd say, right, we'll do well, we might stay in the league. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get relegated when we were up in that league. I've been in there for 13 years.
I managed to get relegated.
Aye. So I didn't want relegated because I knew how hard it would be for the Ants to come back up.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because it's difficult when you go down and players are leaving. And obviously with me getting away, it was always going to be hard for whoever came in to get players in again like that. You know what I mean? And Tony and Ronnie done it under a wee bit of duress. They shouldn't have done it at that time. They get kind of forced on them. I always remember when Scott said to Ronnie, I said, look, it's difficult, just do what you can. But it was hard because...
It's hard, mate.
They're stepping in as a player.
See, you know much to bargain with. You can only try and sell your setup. And
that shows you, no, I used to, this is God's honest truth. I used to go down Elder Park that night and I'd watch wee games, that's who he was playing. And see, like, Paul looked fit, jogged around. I start jogging beside him. I swear to God. The big boy for saying Singapore, right? He played senior with Airdrie and that, right? He played with the international with Benin, right? He's jogging along. I start jogging along beside him. All right, big man, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. What are you up to? Just jogging around getting fit for the football. I've got a bag of sweets in my pocket, right? I'm not kidding on. This is God's honest truth. I says to him, they must have thought I was right mad. I said, mate, you might come my motor, right? I said, God's honest truth. So he looked at me and said, where you want to go? I said, mate, I manage the ants up there. I'll take you to the park, you can run around there and I'll let you in and let you see all the stuff. And that's a great park and all that. That was my selling point in the park.
Aye.
So he jumps in the motor.
Imagine the wee guy standing in the motor, eating cold sweets. Where am I going here?
If I thought you looked like a football player, I would maybe talk to you and tell you why I come down just to have a look at you. So the big boy's jumping in the motor and he's come out of the park and that. And we've got him in, he's looking about. He said, that's a good setup and all that. I said, what's your plans? He said, I've just finished with I don't know. My agent's trying to get my club. And I'm off, we get League Cup 6, we play Athley in a couple of weeks. Want to come in, do a bit of training. Big boy came in, I was outstanding. So the first game, he's been absolutely brilliant. Behind we beat the Borough 3 or 4 and he was superb. But he wasn't doing what he should have been doing. I'm just there's no trying to like here tonight. 28 minutes gone. Ref, sub, whipped him off. Right? Said, what's up with you for listening? I didn't want to tell you, James. My agent's got me a club. I've got a Champions League club to play in Romania.
Aye.
So he went away there. That was the last I've ever seen him. Shoot his on and said, well done, big man. True story. For the answer to the Champions League, that.
Because when he beat that bag of wedges to the Champions League, they face it.
Have you ever heard the Glody and Toomba?
Who's that?
He played with Rangers, Glody. Right?
Aye.
He was another one running the Elder Park, wasn't he? I'm running him. Come me Uncle James.
Chloroform right in the mouth.
Come me Uncle James. Glody just been released with Rangers, played 5 years. You know what I mean? So he was a good player also. I got him in. Signed a boy, played with Real Betis, Ivan Jaramillo. I signed Bigaboo for St Peter's, right? And they went to Albion Rovers. So it was Albion Rovers first, that's what it was. And I got him back and we played Mary Hull in a friendly, right?
You could launch a ball, couldn't you?
Aye.
An absolute mile, man.
But see, when he played it first, he was hard. The game we couldn't play there. They used to smash people left, right, and centre. But Bigaboo was a great big player for us.
Abu played with me at Port as well, so I played at the Ants with him for a bit.
Didn't take him off.
Played at Port with me. And I always remember, you probably don't know him, Craig Casement, boy CC.
Oh, okay,
right.
He's a good player.
CC's just a proper Port, well, it's for Broomy and Greenock. Half his nuts, some laugh. And Big Abu's getting in the shower. But he always has a boxer on, didn't take him off. CC's like, Abu, get the boxers off. No, he's like, get him off. It's like, no, he's like, let's see, come on. And they all started chasing him about the dressing room.
Love a big boy,
I'll tell you another story, right? So I was still working in Berlin at the time. And me, Cotter and Ronnie, for some reason I picked you up. So we're driving to the game, playing Villa Clyde, and we'll get no goalkeeper. So we go to pick this boy up and we go right beside where the Red Road Flats used to be. There's like tenements there. So Cotter phones the boy to come out. So I'm sitting in the front seat.
The boy just out of jail?
Aye, the boy comes down the stair, sits in the motor. We're all alright, mate. And I look in the rear view mirror. And he goes, alright, boss. He'd been playing for the D-Hall team about 2 weeks before.
Just got released.
Oh,
Then he did goalie. Yeah, I should have done a about it. Kyle,
I'd say you've got a good goalkeeper. He's a nice enough guy, you know. I
I
went.
get players everywhere. Right. See if you've done as a thumb, I was happy with it, you know what I mean?
I was one of the ones I said, oh.
But see, there's a lot of, see the team we had in 2011, they were a brilliant team and all.
Who was in that team?
Ronnie, Ross Cummins, Jordan White, Gary McGrath, wee Homer, Gary Dixon, Big Richie, Steve McMillan was frightening, wee Jamie Knott. See Steve McMillan, he put Dundee United, what a player he was. Liam McElhatton, with Caloria, Bernie, we'd a brilliant team. But see that year, as a thing that still kills me to this day, we could beat the promotion for 2 points, right? It was only 2 up at the time. But we'd like 50 points or something, I mean, we'd quite a good total. And we drew 4 of the last 5 games. But we played the Port, I don't know if you played the Port, I always went on holiday at Christmas.
I would have been there then.
So,
we Davy slaughters you for that.
No, but no, do you know why? See when I was in the juniors, when I first, there was no football at Christmas. So I never took a summer holiday, I didn't take a summer holiday because of football, obviously. So I always booked Christmas because you had 2 weeks off. It's only when they changed it, by that time I'd booked, you know what I mean? So we were supposed to play the Port, and I'm in Bali, you know what I mean? I'm suffering, looking cool.
Speedos on these Speedos, you like you
purple form. So anyway, get this phone call for the boy for the Port, game's off, James, I'm like, brilliant, I'm on holiday anyway, and that. So I think the game's off, right? But they hadn't swapped it round, I think me known. Right, Kenna swapped it round, and Body get beat 2-1. I still to my day, I said that probably cost us promotion. I didn't even know that's a playing. You know what I mean? We had 5 players missing, we beat 2-1.
Do you know what?
Kenna said they thought the Port was at it, so I just changed it. Doyle and Bona was there, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Cotter did, this is the biggest compliment I've ever had in football. When I was at the Port playing right back, Cotter man marked me.
That was 2 Stoke and apart. You won that game back, didn't you?
Aye, Tam Miller man marked me when I was playing right back. That was the best compliment I've ever had in my life.
He caused us a lot of problems with his pace.
I mean, but he was like, he's a stolen motor bit, mate.
Oh, mate, could go anywhere.
Sometimes he's on the motorway, but still.
Aye, could have went anywhere, man. I did it really quickly though. But how was it playing, managing when your bra was the chairman? And it was like, because I know what Kenna's like, I've always got on really well with Kenna, but I know what he's like as well, it's his club.
See, truthfully, you wouldn't believe the pressure you were under and the stick you got.
I remember we used to fight at half time.
We brought the hands so maybe, and they expected us to be a top team every year and didn't realise you were losing 15 players. And see if you lost 2 in the trot, what sack you? It was horrendous. Sometimes you'd be fighting. I remember me and John Doyle was in the club till 3 in the morning, fighting for our job. And we were sitting mid-table in the higher league, you know what I mean? And I'm like, we just want us to do, fucking beat Barcelona. I said, we're doing our best, we've not got any money. Every time we get a good player, somebody comes and takes them. I said, so what do you want us to do? What do you want us to win the Scottish? Do you want us to win this? And in fairness, we've done well. We got to all the cup semi-finals. And a game haunts me, I'll tell you that one later. Apart from the Scottish, I was the only one we ever got to the semis. Not I mean, we got to semi-finals every other cup. And we should have beat Pollock that day. That was, do you remember that game now? 2011, 2012. Or 2-0 up, 8 minutes to go. Tony Kane's playing brilliant. Ronnie was in with a few injuries, but Big Mackie was up front. And we had a right good team, as I said, with Ross and that. Big Ross come and scored the 2 goals. And we're battering Pollock. I said, easy 2-0, it could have been 5 or 6. But we've not caught them off. And Tony Kane's having a great game. Keep our launches the ball. And for this time, we let it bounce. Sent it off, never let the ball bounce. And the boys nudged him. It's Tony's right header and it's went out wide. Boy crossed the air. Big Conley's trying to tip it out of the bar. And fucking boys headered it in. Then 2-1, so alright, we'll see it out. 92 minutes, still 2-1. I said to Bona, get the ball, just stand in the corner, don't take it out. Bona's holding the ball in there and they're like, fuck, 93 minutes. When you win and blow this whistle. If boy fills Bona and huts it down, and big Graham Japp's playing, he's come on just up. He's went to clear it and hit it for a corner. Ball comes in, bump, goal. Fuck, 2 each. Then they get another corner into the time. Corner could have caught this one, but it comes in and he punches it out. It goes to half a and Jerry Joyce hits in the roof of the net. Man, what a goal. Never did it again. We beat 3-2. And we battered them. It was a tragedy. But that's how far we came on. We were better than Pollock in some games. We'd actually been beating Pollock and Athlone regularly. And at 8 times. And as I said, in the league with some brilliant players.
Do you think that was your best team that you had then?
The one that won the league and then was, I would say the one that won the league was slightly better.
Aye. Because
they were big. Joe Mahern used to score 25, 30 goals, man. Joe was mad. Let's see what I'm saying with Greg Fierce and Greg. They were all kind of scheme boys. And I remember we were playing the Scottish. No, where's this cunt Greg? Not here yet. And phone just bugged up. I said, where's that Greg? He's in the jail. He's in remand. So I got up to Helen Street, didn't I? Officer, any chance of letting this play out? Aye. He says, what do you mean? I said, we'll bring him up after the game. Right? He's like, I don't think he can do that. I said, I said to Smith was the commander in Helen Street. I said, I know Eddie Smith going to ask him. The big head he's going to do. But I said, James, I said, one of my players is in the jail. It's enough an offence. But he's not paid a fine. So we couldn't get him out anyway, you know what I mean? But they didn't let us out. And we ended up with one, and Greg came to training Monday, I'm sorry boys, blah, blah, blah. But Big Joe was the worst. Big Joe used to retire, right? But Joe would always score. So Joe would always go to night out ways and he'd tap you 20 quid, 30 quid and that. So it's my wee nephew, so he'd owed me 50 quid. This time we're playing Canvas Thing, right? And I says, we were in trouble for relegation. I said, Joe, go come and play this game. I said, we really need to win this or we're getting relegated. And he's like, I can't write. And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. See if you, I put my sub, I said, see if you go in and we're getting beat 1-0. I said, see if you go in and score. Forget that 50 quid, you owe me, I'll let you go with it. You know, scored the hat trick, didn't he?
Did he?
You want to have 100 quid after that?
Did you take your 50 off him?
I took my money, I'm not kidding on. But no, Joe was a great goal scorer. Joe scored, he's a record scorer for the history of the club.
I see, it's funny, like, you mentioned these names, obviously Boner was there when I was there.
There's a lot of ones you don't know.
But a lot of the ones you mentioned, because I've been fortunate enough to play in a few of the
legends
games and all that, it's guys I know, but well, I didn't know them as players, but it's quite good. Because you see, like Joe's kind of loved about the club, and he was just some older guy when I was there. You know what I mean?
But he was scored some goals. I always remember playing Port, and remember the boy Mario Passetti?
Aye.
Well, Mario's Martin's all right. Well, he was a manager. And we're toying about with him, right? And it's came in, we won 5-2 or something against him, right? And they're gone mental, and Mario's like, Ronnie's shouting, I tell you, man, I'm not hearing, what did I tell you? So Mario says something back to him, Passetti boy said something back, and he's holding him off. So Big Joe's laughed. He said, look at me, I'm a big skinny drip, and you can't get near me. Every time I meet everyone, I'm scored. So Big Mario was having a go, you know what I mean?
Aye.
And we were all laughing at the side because we were running easy, you know what I mean? And after that, I don't know if Ronnie got a sack after that. I think it was Ronnie, could have been a sack, no offence that man. We used to beat, as I said, we beat a lot of them. But we got some dudes, as I was telling you, the 12-0 with Paul. But we turned that round and 1-2-1. I didn't play that day, I was just back for holiday. There was only 2 subs at the time. I mean, it was a pre-season cup game.
So Cotter texted me that. Cotter texted me that the other day because we've obviously been scudded 11-1 off of Clydebank. And he's like, 12-0, we could be half point and we're going to beat them a year later. So, Moff, guys, going to pump these next year.
But that's what, no, it happens. No, football's funny. You can be hard for 90 minutes and 1 minute.
How did you end up at Fonnellywood?
Just right.
Well, no finish with that shit.
No, we'll go your relegation year, right? My year there.
I just feel as if I'm sitting in the middle and I could do the bump and you two could just talk.
No. We're going to talk about how I retired.
Easy crisp. Easy fucking crisps.
You've got to bring it up, how I'm retired and all that.
The year we get relegated.
The year we get relegated was a sore year because obviously my wife took cancer at that time and all. So it's not an excuse, but your head wasn't totally where it should have been. So now, did you play the whistle game? I felt we got cheated with the referee, and I says after the game.
I probably would have, but I can't remember.
Gareth got a tackle, and it was just outside Wishaw's box, right? But he's facing our goal, 80 yards out, and he's went a 50-50. The boy shit it.
Oh, at Wishaw?
I
remember that.
Your keeper's caught the ball and he's got a pass back, 80 yards. And I said, you kidding me on? And they scored for it. So I came after the game, I said, I can't
that was the good Wishaw team they had as well, wasn't it? That's right.
But we were better
than that day.
We were better than
that was quite
we hadn't really had to win. So I was fuming that and I says to Ken after the game, do you know I'm retiring? That's me done. So I'm not putting up with referees and I'm not putting up with this anymore. But I was just making excuses, you know what I mean? I think I was just feeling sorry for myself a bit. And I was like, that's me, done. The referee's to blame. And it was dead funny. This is how I kind of got really pally with me, Davey, right? Because Ken has phoned Davey when I'm standing there in my shorts. And I'm saying, retiring at the end of the season. Do you want to do a job, Davey? I'm like, Ken, I've not even chucked it yet. You know what I mean? But
fight for me.
No, but and that's how my head was in that last season. And it was, I don't like making excuses because we did get relegated, but some games we played really well and we were just unlucky, and it's just one of the games.
It's weird.
But we'd went 13 years in that higher league, so we'd overpunched.
He's doing well.
It was weird that season, I thought, because then we had that run in the cup.
Aye,
the
season. Semi-final with Greenup.
Fucking, we beat Arthurley and all that.
Rob Roy.
Mm-hmm. The Greenup one was weird because that's
but Willie Duncan get sent off, and then we'd done another cheese and that was injured. Henderson was injured.
Because I went
so better players.
I went off my head at Willie at half time.
Nah, he got sent off in the first.
I think I've mentioned it before.
First 5 minutes or something.
He's like, he came in, he's like, sorry lads, I'm speaking. Sorry? I was like, you've literally fucking cost us a semi-final. Because he was...
I thought we'd have beat Greenup that day, even though we'd have beaten team, because we were right down to the bare bones.
Willie was really good that season as well. And it killed us, because see the type of football we didn't play much football before we went long a lot, but Willie was rapid, and he didn't stop, so he caused a lot of issues. Him getting sent off absolutely killed us. But I I missed the penalty and got relegated.
But see the thing, it's just one of these unfortunate things. You don't blame anybody for it, know what I mean? You look at it, no, because it's the season. There's a lot of times you look at, oh, he did miss that, but it's what you do in the season. It's not what you lost the last game or nothing. You put yourself in a situation because we weren't good enough. You know what I mean?
No.
But you just got to remember, sometimes you looked at the answer. I remember when we Maxie took care of Rob Roy, right? I always tell my story because when they were all young, I used to talk to all the young managers. And don't get me wrong, I knew everybody. I'll tell a story about Stevie Martin in a minute, This is how close football is. So I got to know a lot of senior managers and everything, so I could phone them up, come to your training night and that, and I said, going to give me him, and that. And I ended up getting a lot of good players at it. So, God, I can't remember what I was going to say there. What was I saying about that?
Stevie
Marlin and I was trying to get players, and Maxie when he was
at Maxie was at Rob Roy, right? So Maxie had 4 games left and he needed a point to stay up in the Premier League. So he phones me up. Oh, that's not. I said, Max, you're tired today. I said, go for the draw. Don't go to win games. Just get that point and forget everything else. Make sure you get the point. First 2 games, they're 2-0 up, and he's lost the 2 of them. Into the 3rd game, they're 2-1 up, loses that. Yeah. And then obviously they get relegated because of the whole thing. And I was telling him a story, I think it was 2005, 2006. We had 3 games left and we had to have won one. We had 1 point out of these 3 games. 4 games left to tell a lie. With Joker away, which was tough. With Greenock away, which was tough. And with Clydebank away, which was tough. And with Fornwood at home. That was the one. They were relegated. But Big Connolly was playing with them at the time. They had a big striker, Robert Davidson. Robert was bigger than you, 6'4". He scored a hat-trick, right? During the game, it was 3 each. 5 minutes to go, we got a corner. And I says, you stay back, keep that ball in the corner, right? So the Fornwood manager's like, what are you doing? 5 minutes to go. So I've got the ball, or players holding the ball in the corner, right? 8 minutes, they held that ball in the corner. And they watched for full time, right? All my players are like, yeah, that's fucking embarrassing, Cotter. I said, do you know what that means? I said, that means we're safe. You know what I mean? I said, that point, that's us safe. We can't get relegated now. So Ken and everyone were all sorting, they're all booing me coming in, you're embarrassing, your dad would be turning his grave and all that, watching all that shit. You don't even know what this means to the club. And I said, it means we're safe. And see the last 3 games, we get beat 4-0 in the freedom. So that point, and that's what I was saying to Maxie, sometimes take a point and make sure you're safe, then win the 3 games.
It doesn't matter.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what you need to learn when you're a wee bit.
Tell us your Stevie Marlin story.
Stevie Marlin, we're doing it watching Troon, right? So I signed Stevie the day, tried to get him for years, right? I actually signed Stevie, I signed Bill McCulloch, Richie Newell, I signed a lot of brilliant players. Thomas Brown obviously played with Kilmarnock, I know. But Stevie's boy, right, hadn't been playing for St Mirren, so I knew Davy Longwell. They played at the Ants, remember St Mirren? We used to play them every year. Like we used to play Albion Rovers, Edinburgh City, St Mirren, Partick Thistle. That was all my pre-season, Talbot and all them. We'd play all the good teams because everybody wanted to play the Ants because I think they fought with good players and with a good park. So Stevie was playing, we beat St Mirren 3-2 or something. And I was doing it Troon and I was talking to him about how you know playing the day. He said, oh, I might go. And I said, why don't you come to the Ants on loan? Oh, young Stevie. And he's like, I might just stay there. So I said to Stevie, what do you think, Stevie? I said, you've obviously been at the club. He said, aye, definitely, James, that'll be good. We'll speak to Davy Longwell tomorrow. But somebody for St Mirren got injured and he might get his break. But I didn't play brilliant, and that was it. So it shows you could have been a minute away from being signing for the Ants on loan.
Margins.
You know what I mean? It's just a lot in football.
Good player. His dad was some player.
Stevie was outstanding, isn't he?
It was an animal
warrior.
Well,
battle your head.
Unbelievable, man. Right, ask him now.
Right, you can ask me now.
So maybe Bollywood and that.
Well, when I went to Shelton first, remember?
Did you?
Aye,
right.
You
were, that's
never
right.
got a game.
That's right.
You what?
I got sacked. Never got a game.
Did you?
What had happened was obviously Sean had died at this time, right?
Aye. So
I wasn't interested in football and I'd let it go. And my ma died, right? And she was getting buried that day. And I spoke to Sean Kelly when, what's the boy, McStain, that was the manager.
Aye, because that's, right? They went in after you,
no, they were in for me.
Was it before you?
They were before me.
After you.
So Shug had obviously given them a lot of money. So Shug says to me, James, I know you do work. You don't really pay a lot of money for players and that. So we had a good meeting with Shug. And I was like, well, I'd be interested in job anyway, Shug. So my ma's getting buried and Shug phoned and said, do you still want that job? I said, I'll take the job. I'll do it. So I brought my cousin Keith in, and we were actually signing a lot of good players with Cheezer Tamal, with a lot of wee dog. I'd spoke to Maguire, not him for the rock, but it was actually a good team coming in. And Keith had brought a few boys from Broomhouse and there were a lot of good players. And I'm saying, we're actually doing not too bad. Jim O'Donnell phones me. He said, oh, good to see you back in Dan Shelton. I said, aye, doing it with Shug and that, what'd you call it? Keith and, what was the goalkeeping coach? Hutchie,
aye.
Doing it with him and what'd you call it? Aye, it's all going good and that. But Jim's put an article in saying, Shug's in the backroom staff. So Shug's took the huff. What do you mean? I own the club. I said, well, Jim sometimes just writes things. I said, I tell him it's me and you're doing it as a co-manager. You know what I mean? I said, but Jim's put you in because you obviously own the club as background staff or whatever. So he's took the huff. So he says to me, well,
Shug took the huff?
Aye. So he's like, am I right? he said, all the money, I'd agreed to sign all the players on like 30 and 40 pounds. But when I thought it obviously Ryan was paying hundreds and all that. Ricky McIntosh won 90 quid and all that.
What was that like for you? But obviously all the years at the Ants.
Difficult, mate. This is all coming to
fighting with boys for nothing. And then you get money.
Fucking finished.
But that's what I'm
sorry, I
saying.
can't help it.
See, with the money, I was trying to get all the players for nothing.
Oh.
I'd signed 9 players for Shettleston for nothing. And I'd give ones at £20, 25. So Shug was delighted to go at it. It's that because I'd got all players in. Dearest player was 40 quid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that was wee Doc and Cheeser. I'd give it all for them 40 quid. So, but get in and next minute Shug's like that. I'm not happy with this. You're bad mouthing people. I said, Shug, just let it go and we'll quit on. So then he started getting a bit funny. I said, Shug, anything? You've not got any training stuff? I said, what do you mean no training stuff? Then he said, I'm not paying the players' wages. What are you going to do for money? I said, Shug, he's peace. I said, we've already signed him. So I went down and I said to the players, look, he's not going to pay money, he's all want to play for nothing. So they all said, aye. So I said, that's good. Something back. I said, Shug, the boys are going to play for nothing. You're not using the park. I'm like, Shug, fuck's sake, he's peace. I said, do you know what I do, Shug? I'll use the Ants park. We'll use that every time. My Shettleston team's not going to play in Govan. I said, well, let's play here. You'd need to pay for it and you'd need to sign a waiver for electricity and all that. I said, I'm not signing anything. I'm liable for the building and all that, you know what I mean? So we went to Head Up. I go to Head Up every year, the horse race. Down there, I got a phone call. Had a committee meeting. It was only Shug and realised it just died there recently. And an hour boy. But Shug was not the committee. I said, Shug, you can't have a committee meeting. There's no committee there. He said, I've decided to let you go. Thanks for your time. That was it. So I didn't play the game. And then obviously Forney was struggling.
I'm not getting involved.
No, I mean, Shug's a great guy. But what you've got to remember, Shug
I didn't even know you were the gaffer there, mate.
Shug Kelly kept that Shettleston club going for years. He was in poker. Shug spent fortunes. So you've got to give him that. He's done brilliant for Shettleston.
Thorneywood then? How'd that
Thorneywood. I was, what you call it, they were struggling right down the bottom. And I can't remember, I met somebody and they said, well, how do you not go for that job? And see, because I'd done Sean's wee tournament thing, I could be buzzed back again and, what do you know what I said, miss a football in the dressing room and all that.
Yeah.
So the boy chucked it and I spoke to Ian McLaughlin, chairman. I said, I might come for it. He said, I come in for it. And I went, would you call it, down to see him. And we were just sitting talking and that. And he said, do you come and we'll get a wee committee meeting if you want the job. So I broke Keith's face. And what I was with Keith was I was trying to get him into junior football because he'd done amateur all his days. And I was never going to last long anyway. But and when I went to Forneywood and see the committee, absolutely brilliant. Probably the best. The committee was fantastic. Great people. And when I went there, we ended up getting a good team. But I don't know, see the season we went, first game was against Support, we won 1-0 down there. Then there was no games for 15 weeks. It was torrential rain. So by that time, players were leaving and Orient, you couldn't get any players in because the seasons were all getting prolonged, so I couldn't sign anything. And the team was struggling to compete. And we just couldn't get to stay up because Forth went on a mad run. They won like 10 in a trot, and that was us doomed. But we'd only 1 point and we took care. So we knew we were going to get down. But the next year, when we were still there, we had a good team. With Bunzy and all, James Marner, Gary Stewart, with a right good big Welsh, so with a right good team, and I'm like, we won the league. There's no way we're not going to win the league. So when I got him all signed, I said, right, this is a plan. Took him down to Irvine, you know, from the side.
I remember doing that.
Took him down there, got him all with a great bunch of boys. First couple of games, with a lot of injuries again. I'm like, what the fuck's happening there? But we weren't getting people drawing and that, and drew against Seville in games we were battering Muir Cup, and we beat Muir Cup. And with a bad start, then all of a sudden we had a wee run. Then the boys started missing training and no turning up. And I'm like, this isn't good enough. I'm not used to this. I like everybody here. And it was handy because I signed Coatbridge and we trained in Coatbridge, so I just went down to training. You know what I mean? They were all moaning about training, didn't they want to be fit. Some of them, I said, you need to run to be fit. I said, see, if you're not good enough, sometimes your fitness gets you through a game. And you might be playing against better players, but you might be fitting them and you'll outlast them. I said, and that's when you can maybe win a game. Because I'd always been a big thing in fitness, as I said. So we were having a wee run, and I says to the committee, I remember we were doing Ardere or Saltcoats thing. So Ardere it was, we won 5-0, and I says to the committee, I said, we'd won out at 7 in the trot or something. I said, I can't go to leave at the end of the season. And I hadn't given, I felt bad for myself and I felt bad for him because I never done what I done at the Ants. I never go into games. I got a team, I said, I'm happy with that. I didn't go to pursue to get extra players in. So I like myself doing that way.
Yeah.
I didn't go to say, right, I'll sign Craig, I'll sign you, I'll sign you. I'm saying I've got 17 players, that'll do me. Not going out anywhere because I was going to my caravan and all that, all this usual stuff. So my head wasn't 100% in it, but we still had a team. So come with 5 games to go, Ian and that's like, will you help pick as a manager and that then if you're going to leave? I said, aye, I'll help you. And I knew Dolsey and them were chucking Royal Albert at the end of the season. So I phoned them up, I said, look, I'm chucking Fornwood at the end of the season. Do you want to come in when you leave Royal Albert? So they're like, aye. So I got to my wee meeting with the committee. But we had 5 games or 6 games, 5 games, but the promotion was in your own hands. You won 4, I think you were up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I said, look, you're in a great chance in that. But when they came in, they were trying to get Royal Albert players, so Royal Albert found out, sacked them. So they're like, can we come in early? And I was going to Ireland and all that anyway, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know, because you want to get promotion again, you know what I mean? Because you're so close to it. And you've already beat Kaluk 3-0 and you've already beat this one, the ones you're playing with the thing. Huh?
He's never beat Ashfield.
No, we'll just go with we used to beat 3-2, remember? Some guy shot him with one of them.
Yeah, who?
Guy shot took him off half time.
Was he?
Because he wasn't tracking back or something. So anyway, so what they say to me, can we just take a job and I'm like, alright, I'll just, Ian, that's like, do you mind? I said, no, I'll just let them do it. They won the first game against Vale Clyde 2-1 and they were playing Lara and Mad Dogs went on the park and booted the ball. And they got a free kick and scored and that was...
I haven't seen that.
That was what you call it.
It was mad, man.
And they scored that right at the
the ball, man, and they got a free kick.
Ball was going out for a floor and Dogs ran on the park. Because they'd never put the ball and bombed it and they got a free kick and the boy scored.
The boy scored and it done them.
That done them, so that was it. But the committee, I still go and watch Fornwood here and there, they were brilliant. I mean, I just felt bad for myself because
we're in the league with them this year.
I didn't do enough. You know what I mean? I didn't do what I'd done with the Ants, but the Ants was always, because it was family and all.
It was decades there as well, though.
You'd been there a long time and everybody knew me in the Ants. I mean, I still go to junior clubs and I still go in every day for nothing.
Think you'd lost.
That's big, man. That's the way it should be, because the amount of time and... Okay, I'm making some mess here. The time and what you gave a grade, not me. Listen, I'll be honest.
There's a lot of good characters when I managed that. I used to phone managers all the time.
People can have their opinions and people can say about fitness and all that. And listen, that was just your way of working. People are different. You might
I'll give you an
agree
example,
with
right? You all want to play it for the back, you know, right? No, just think about it. I mean, nine and what to do. No, like Paul done it against, remember it was the last game, and I was mad at you half time, remember I used to stand up for you. And I'm like, we had a chance of getting fucking relegated and just passing the ball out the back. So say for instance, Ashfield get the ball roll out and you lose a game, and the last kick of the ball, you passed it out that. You sometimes need to say to yourself, we need to do enough to get up the park.
Yes.
There's times when to play at the back,
of course,
and there's times when not to.
Of course there is.
And what you've got to remember is certain boys not good enough to get the ball at the back and roll up and play a diagonal. You're whole wide open. All of a sudden you play it inside and the pass wide open.
I think it's no...
The football now is...
No, you want to play football, but I think sometimes...
Who's the most successful team?
Players' decision making needs to be better.
In the last 15 years, who's been the last...
Talbot.
What way do they play?
I know they...
What way do they play?
No, I don't watch him enough.
Changes.
I don't watch him enough to...
Leishman doesn't throw the ball out.
No, I don't watch him enough to...
You mind you're on your podcast, you let a man talk here.
I'm just telling him that.
I don't think
I educate him.
Cotter's always...
Know what I mean?
His way or the highway.
I felt victim to it myself.
What I'm saying is...
That's what you've got to look at. The success with Talbot is unbelievable. Too many junior clubs now think they're senior clubs. Obviously they're changed now to senior. But they're not good enough to do this. Talbot was successful because Leishman never threw the ball out. They played it up long, came into midfield and that's when they played. When they got the ball, do you ever mind the Largs Cup final with him? Largs passed the ball back, 3-0, boom. Talbot just up to gear, took the ball off him and scored.
No, I definitely agree that you don't try and play if you've not got the players not.
I'm not saying go long or trying to play,
but you need to play the game the right way.
See
but it's a player's decision making. No, players need to know. Players need to know when they're fucking time to play a long ball, when to play a pass.
We could play good.
As a manager, you can't go in the park and play every pass from you. To encourage them to try and play that. But if I've got a centre half and whatever, and they're trying to overplay when it's not on, then that's when they need to decide on the part there and then their decision making.
What good managers do is they'll say, let Paul Gordon have the ball at the back, let him have it, then shut him down quickly, shut the right back quickly so he can't go because he can't use his left foot to go that side.
This is what I wanted to talk to you about because I think this is where it's good because you're very passionate and you're very set in your principles and the way you think the game should be played.
We
Or
played brilliant
your
football
opinion.
teams. The answer to some
What
brilliant teams.
talk you, man?
I know, mate. I'm looking at
carry
a
on.
fucking minute here.
Carry on.
Fucking take all my
Don't
patience
edit
here.
Right,
Take
carry
my
on.
patience. Okay. So that what is your feeling in it now? This is what I want to get.
The feeling nowadays,
obviously, I know.
Would you have your team playing like a low block or a mid block or that?
Lego block. I don't. That's a lot of nonsense.
Obviously, I
No
know Twitter or
nonsense.
not. You see a lot of things not. So I want
Right.
to know what
Truthfully,
do you
right.
think
Truthfully, when I look at junior football now, obviously I've been a long time in it.
Yeah.
The standards nowhere near what it was when we were there. Even going back 10 years, the standards miles away. I
Do you think
think.
the standards less?
Ah, well,
I think the standards football wise is better.
I'm
No.
convinced the Talbot team in the last 3 or 4 years would have beaten almost anybody in the last 30 years at junior football.
They were a good team.
Aye.
Talbot was a good team.
Aye, but
But
even
I'm talking about the standard of players. Proper junior football when you get smashed up. Big Curry for the Vale and Bayless and Bobby Russell. And these were all big giant guys. Gordon Wilson.
But football's pure change.
But it's
Cotter,
totally,
it's
it's 100% changed. But
everywhere.
you're asking my opinion. Do I
No,
think it's
I'm
better?
asking, and I'm not saying.
And I don't think it's
Listen,
better,
and
in my opinion.
I'm not saying for 1 minute your opinion's wrong in it, and it's what you believe in, and I'm not saying that my opinion on football is the right way either. It's everybody's different opinions. This is why.
There's no step up.
This is
there.
why when I spoke about we Davey team and I said that they were
Oh,
physical.
long ball, Greg.
I didn't say they were long ball. I just said they were physical and you
The
had to
shagger.
mix it right. So anyway, I'm not getting back to that. But I didn't question. I played with a lot of their players and I know how good a football team they were and how good football players they were when they had the likes of Galway and all that. What I just said was they could have been physical at times, and that's what teams need. That wasn't a dig at the quality of players they had. A dig at the team they had. I'm just making an observation. It's an actual praising. It's an actual compliment saying they can do things at other teams.
See, for me,
Because we've all played with teams that can knock the ball about nice, but they're no ruthless enough.
See
They
that
know
Blantyre
what
team, they were like a lower level Talbot team. See like the first kind of central first and second, they bullied everybody, right? They were physical, strong.
Davis team was a good team.
But they were full of winners.
They were very
Full of
good.
winners who were boys who
They
had
were
that
very good and they were
quality.
very
And the quality to win you games.
They were very fucking. They done well. They were fucking.
But it's hard to you made the bloomer as you compared them to our team, Gibby's team. You can't. It's difficult to do that because I could compare my teams with, like you're saying, who's the best team and all that. It's difficult.
Everybody compares teams.
No, I know, but I'm
wasn't
just saying.
comparing. It was just a.
But
I
this
thought
is-
they
but
played
this is what I'm
slightly
saying,
different ways.
The day, because Gibby's team done brilliant.
Like,
Gibby's
Steve-
team went on a brilliant run. I mean, Gibby was one day away from sack. One game.
Because it's
You know what I mean?
like.
When was the last
So-
time Blantyre won the top league?
Exactly. So he's done well. I can remember Blantyre in the Scottish.
So,
1982
but
or
it's
something.
just everybody. I just don't think that. I don't try and. I would never ever slaughter somebody for having an opinion on it.
Would you call it?
Ever have an opinion on the game because different things work. You need to. Look, I was saying, like, you sometimes need to play differently to what players you've got at your disposal and all. Do you know what I mean?
You look
So,
for weaknesses in other teams.
I
That
totally get that, but I do think that
if you're for
10
example,
years ago at junior football, it was harder. There was
there
very,
was a lot
very
of good
good
football
players.
players.
Very, very good football players.
there was a lot of good seniors drafting doing real heavy good pros.
See, it's funny though. You see the difference in generation here, right? Because I agree with you.
Big Ricky
I think-
Cadbury and all that.
I
Portland
think see
were
the
big
tap
Ricky.
in particular. I mean, you look at fucking some of the players Davil have got and all that, and for me, Clyde Bank, Talbot. I think the tap end in the West of Scotland All Juniors is definitely better now than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, I don't know.
I think even.
But granted,
Do you know think the teams
I
that
don't
the
know.
lot
There's a lot
teams?
of pretty
I'm
boys
not
in the
even.
play.
I'm not even just thinking the. I'm not even just thinking the tap league. I'm thinking like the standard of our teams are better.
No, I go and watch games.
No?
I don't agree. No. What I've seen, and I'm not doing that to be biased because I've managed in all these years. I don't think the standard's anywhere near as it was.
I look at.
But when I watch their athletes and all that, and their Pollocks and that, and they're frightening a lot of them.
I look at. Fucking.
Well, there is.
I look for Tottenham. I look at Greenock. Tommy's team. I think they're much
Very
better than what
effective.
Greenock's
Aye.
been here the last few
Definitely.
but
years.
when Mooney and that, you
Probably
know,
last.
they were a good team.
I look at.
I'd say Tamsin are better
No, man.
than his team.
Do you know what I mean?
How many would you actually say stepped up to play senior in the last 4 or 5 years?
I just don't think even boys want to date,
No,
but
but think about there's so many.
boys could date.
When you
But
look at me, James Grady, you know how many days and that back there? Loads.
I think part of the issue
I
here
think
is
boys don't want to date.
see the amount of money you're getting paid at this level now. Like boys are not willing to go up. No, unless they're younger ones with certain ambitions. a lot of them will not do it because you could be getting paid a couple of quid a week at a
Obviously,
tap club.
the tap clubs have got a lot of good money, you know what I mean?
Aye, the tap clubs are definitely able to compete
See, when I was,
with tap,
I was
League
never
One teams.
jealous of people spending money, you know what I mean? Because I knew I never had it. So even we used to buy players, right? God's honest truth at the hands. We'd buy some players, right? But we'd sit on the committee and say, well, Big Mackie, for instance, right? They signed him for Rob Roy. The Mackie was about 3 stone overweight when I signed him, right? But he was all muscle. He was like a builder, a boxer. So I phoned Jimmy Lindsay. I said, "Much you want for Mackie? 500. I said, "Fuck off, Jimmy, size him." He said, "I paid 1,500 for him." He said, "Give me 5." I said, "Right, see what I can do." So I said to committee, "Can you give me money?" No, no. So I said to committee, "Go and give me £100 in." So we all put £100 in each to get him. But we got him, and in fairness to Big Mackie, I used to train and me and Mackie's tied at 10:30 at night running. I just run him for months and right through pre-season, and he lost 2 stone and it was frightening. And he scored about 30 goals in the first 3 months, and Beef came in for him. And Big Mackie, in fairness to him, made us a brilliant deal. I mean, we got great money from Mackie, you know what I mean? But we used to do that with, we like Jamie Dock, for instance, and all. We sell Jamie 3 times, and I got him back for cheaper all the time, but every time I got him back, I sold him for a lot dearer, right? Because with the wee committee, the club would always put money in, we go dancing, like all the boys would put a tenner in, we go at Christmas. So the wee Jamie come up for sale for 400 quid. I'm like, oh, kitty money. So I said to the players, I said, look, I've got a chance of buying Jamie Dock. What do you want to do? Get him in, not all play. He said, no, they take your money. So we bought it, the players actually bought him, sold him for 1,000 at the end of the season. Then got him back for 600. Then John Richardson was the manager at Pollock. They were playing Renfrew in a playoff. Do you remember that? So Renfrew wanted to sign Dock, and so did Pollock. But John's like to me, what happens if you will pay you after August? I said, you can't, no, John, it's Pollock. He said, £1,000 you're not getting him. I said, Renfrew's willing to pay. I said, it's up to you. So he didn't pay, but we Dock played with Renfrew and scored the winner, put him out.
Did he?
So, cost him.
What does the future hold for Cotter?
For me,
what are you doing yourself
Caravan I
now?
love, mate.
Caravan I love. Bashing people on Twitter in the junior game.
Truthfully, I wind a lot of people.
I know, I do.
People
People were messaging me.
serious,
People were messaging me going. People did actually message me going, "Cotter's heavy coming for you on Twitter," and I go, "Cotter's want a bite."
I like a bite.
Cotter's want a
I was
bite,
running
and I
houses
said that.
last Friday.
And I said
Everybody on
that,
Twitter.
and I said, "I'm not going to get a bite."
I hadn't been on Twitter much. And
See, truthfully, I'm one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
I know you, mate.
I hadn't been on Twitter much, right? So I do on Twitter, but I hadn't been on it much. And I went running his house last Friday, and he's like, "Oh, there's been a wee bit, you see the stuff for me and Cotter?" And I'm pure, I've not seen it.
No.
That's when I messaged you, I was like, fucking leave him alone. Not having my mate Dak getting
That's
slaughtered.
That's how, mate. I don't
You
follow.
know, but no, so the gaffer wants me to play that, or the gaffer, no, I know what I mean.
Listen, man.
So the minute you say that,
Maxie
that's
got a hold of
you,
you.
isn't it?
See, Maxie got a hold of you.
Do you know I try to sign Maxie loads of times, right? Maxie signed Govan, Drummoy Wood, right? I always try to sign him. But see, then we used to beat Arfield regular. Stephen, when we were managing, we got the Scottish 3-0 and beat 2-1. Very rarely beat us, because we'd always a measure. So I always try to get Maxie, because he was a big Rangers man when they want to come, you know what I mean?
Well, listen,
And as they didn't come, he stayed for here to that window for the park.
I'll be honest, Cotter.
Well,
I think you're a great guy, mate, and you're some laugh, and I love having you on
Keep
and
going,
talk
Dak.
to you, mate. But
Look,
it's all banter,
I won
mate.
a ring, gold ring.
It's all banter.
So that coming in.
He's waited a real 15 minutes to do that.
Okay, well, that's happening. The fuck guys
There you go, Dak, boy.
Right.
Mate, see, honestly, I needed that because it's fucking roasting in here without a
Done my
shit
finger for
mentioned.
Right.
Well played,
That's
Cotter,
time.
man.
Cotter.
Well,
You went there, you went there. Hold on.
No, we're done.
Well done, mate.
Cheers for coming on, Cotter. I really
What a
appreciate
guy,
that.
mate. Superb.
But that's what I'm saying. So,
Look at
remember
that.
the good
I just thought,
Mate.
I thought when he, I thought when he,
15 minutes he sat with that.
yeah, I thought he had his fist clenched because he was going to biff me all show, but he was just going his cushions with a bit of water. Superb, Cotter.
Cheers for coming
There's
on, Cotter.
loads. I never told you a story about Tony McNally, didn't I? For the manager.
Tell us,
Tell me,
tell us.
Yeah, quick one, because
We're playing
Tony's
ball,
a good
right?
part of it.
Oh, Tony's good.
Remember
pal.
this?
They called me Walter Smith because we beat them up at shots. I played 10 minutes. I played a 4-6. We beat
Did
them. Aye, just to beat them. So, no, he's a manager at Pollock. So I used to, when we played Potter, we had drive very early, put my motor in the manager bit. So the Camera Tano and it couldn't work. The only vehicle, see my registration going, I just laugh. And I just started the part one up. Tony came, "Is that your motor there?" I said, "What does it say there?" Tony says, "Manager." I said, "Well, I'm a manager." He said, well, that's my bit. I said, no, it's not. It says manager.
Oh.
And I'm a manager. So I used to wind a lot for it, and he used to bite. Then I'd steal his board. You know what I mean? So I used to do that with loads of things. But seeing juniors, there's a lot of. That's when I've met all my people I know.
Mate.
Junior football.
I know.
I'm always.
I love the junior football.
That's why I love
And
this.
I know I'm a bit critical
podcast.
and doing that, but I love junior football still, and I'll still go. You know what I mean?
That's why I love doing this pod. That's what
And I want Danny and that to do well for the Anthony. You know what I mean?
What final thing then? How do you think Danny and Kush will do?
I think they'll do alright. See, as I said, you'll see trying to get players in. It's difficult to get players in because players get their heads turned around that. But I've got a few good players, and if we keep going, Dan's obviously speaks to me most days, so he does. Kush speaks to me most days. But as I say, it's a learning curve for them. The first year I says just learn, play whatever you want, and you get a player for next year. And hopefully they do well. They're in a good wee league.
Yeah,
and I don't see why they can't do well. You know what I mean? It's just the turn there of players. If you lose a couple of players, then
it's definitely difficult.
Difficult.
You was trying to get a bite off me on Twitter that easy to answer. I kept saying easy to answer, easy to answer.
You do. That's enough, right?
That's enough.
It's enough for the Perry.
That'll be remembered.
Elvis is leaving the ball.
That'll be remembered.
Elvis is my hero. Do you know my hero manager was Brian Clough?
Right, thanks for watching today. Like the channel, subscribe.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Good night, God bless.